What if the royal family's most brutal message to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle was never spoken out loud at all, but delivered through a single missing photograph? What if the real collapse of the Sussex fairy tale didn't happen in interviews, documentaries, or courtroom drama, but quietly inside a private room at Highgrove while the world was distracted by birthday pictures and glossy magazine tributes? Because tonight, the cracks are no longer hidden. They are everywhere, in leaked conversations, in carefully chosen words, in photographs that vanished without explanation. And the deeper you look, the harder it becomes to ignore the feeling that something inside the Sussex story is finally breaking apart in public view. It started with a photograph that, on the surface, looked harmless, sweet, ordinary even. Princess Charlotte smiling confidently in an official birthday portrait released by Catherine, Princess of Wales. A polished royal image. Warm lighting, a protected childhood, the exact type of carefully balanced royal family moment the British public has adored for generations. But according to reports quietly circulating through royal circles, that photograph didn't just land in California, it detonated there. Because suddenly, friends close to Harry began leaking something deeply revealing, something emotional, something almost painfully regretful. Harry, according to those insiders, is devastated that his own children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, are missing out on the exact kind of family life Charlotte, Prince George, and Prince Louis currently enjoy. Read that again slowly, because buried inside that leak is a confession nobody expected to hear this openly. The California dream apparently isn't replacing what Harry lost. It's reminding him of it every single day. And then came the detail that changed everything. According to the same briefing, Harry allegedly told family members during a previous UK visit that he wants his children educated in Britain, not America. Britain, the country he publicly fled, the institution he spent years attacking, the monarchy he accused of trapping him suddenly becoming the exact environment he supposedly wants for his children. That contradiction alone would have been explosive enough. But then another word entered the story and instantly turned private family disagreement into open warfare. Barbaric. That was reportedly the word Meghan used regarding British boarding school culture. Barbaric. One word. One tiny loaded grenade tossed directly into the center of royal tradition. And here's why it landed so violently. Because everyone immediately understood what that word really implied. Prince William and Catherine are widely expected to eventually send George into the same traditional educational system generations of royals experienced before him. So suddenly this wasn't just a parenting preference. This sounded like a public attack disguised as anonymous commentary. A direct shot at the future king and queen's parenting choices before they had even formally announced them. And the timing felt suspicious. Too suspicious. Because these leaks didn't emerge randomly. They appeared immediately after Charlotte's birthday portrait triggered a wave of public affection toward the Wills family. That matters. Royal PR wars are never accidental. Every quote, every friend close to the couple, every strategically timed emotional revelation, it all serves a purpose. And this particular leak carried a message that sounded almost desperate beneath the surface. Harry misses home. Harry misses family. Harry misses the version of life he once claimed was unbearable. But the deeper people looked, the stranger the contradictions became. Because within the same article, Harry is portrayed as emotionally longing for British family life, while Meghan allegedly rejects one of the core traditions tied to that life altogether. Those aren't minor disagreements. Those are two completely incompatible visions of what their children's future should look like. And once the public noticed that contradiction, the whispers began growing louder. Are Harry and Meghan even moving toward the same future anymore? Or are they now publicly leaking different dreams through anonymous friends because the private conversations behind closed doors are becoming impossible to contain? That is not random interior decorating. Royal households communicate through symbolism the same way governments communicate through flags. Every frame placement means something. Every visible absence means even more. And anyone paying attention immediately remembered another infamous royal moment. Queen Elizabeth II herself once sent shockwaves through the Sussex camp after excluding certain family photographs during her Christmas broadcast setup years ago. Harry and Meghan understood symbolism back then, which means they understand exactly what this missing wedding portrait means now. This was not anger. That's what makes it worse. Anger is loud, emotional, temporary. This felt sorrowful, final, like a father quietly accepting reality after years of waiting for reconciliation that never truly arrived. And the replacement images made that emotional transition even more devastating. Charles didn't erase Harry entirely. He kept an older family photograph including both sons. That detail matters. It suggests grief, not hatred, memory, not revenge. But the wedding photograph specifically, the symbol of the Sussex future, disappeared. That chapter itself was what left the room. And that is where this entire royal situation suddenly becomes far darker than people initially realized, because the problem was never simply whether Prince Harry wrote the tribute himself. The problem was what the tribute revealed underneath it. It felt like a man trying desperately to reconnect himself to institutions, figures, and cultural icons that still carry public respect, because his own connection to that respect has become dangerously unstable. And the contrast could not have been more brutal. Sir David Attenborough already has authentic relationships with senior royals, real ones, long-standing ones, deeply documented ones. King Charles III has spent decades championing environmental causes alongside figures like Attenborough long before climate activism became fashionable celebrity branding. Prince William built the Earthshot Prize around those exact conversations. Those relationships were earned slowly over years of genuine shared work. Harry's sudden glossy tribute, by comparison, felt like someone trying to step into a room where the emotional seats had already been taken. And people noticed. They really noticed. Because the British public has developed a strange sixth sense about authenticity over the past several years. They can forgive mistakes. They can forgive scandals. But what they do not tolerate well is performance pretending to be sincerity. That's where the Sussex operation keeps colliding with a wall it cannot seem to break through anymore. Every carefully managed emotional moment now gets examined for fingerprints. Who leaked it? Who polished it? Who ghost wrote it? Who staged it? And once audiences start asking those questions, the emotional magic disappears instantly. Meanwhile, while Harry was publishing polished magazine tributes in California, William was photographed at a football match, openly celebrating, shouting, reacting emotionally during an Aston Villa game. And something fascinating happened. The public loved it, not because it was royal, but because it wasn't trying to feel royal at all. It felt human, real, unfiltered. The future king wasn't selling emotional authenticity through a glossy interview. He was simply existing naturally in public without overthinking the optics. And that difference matters more than almost anything else happening inside the monarchy right now, because modern audiences no longer respond to perfection. They respond to believability. Queen Elizabeth II understood that instinctively. Some of her most beloved moments came when she looked genuinely amused watching horses race at Ascot, or smiling unexpectedly during public appearances. Tiny flashes of real humanity hidden beneath royal discipline. William's football reactions triggered the exact same public response because people recognized themselves in him. No filters, no media strategy, no carefully leaked friend close to the prince narratives explaining what they should feel. Just instinctive human emotion captured in real time. And that is where the Sussex problem becomes almost impossible to ignore, because increasingly their public appearances feel reverse engineered from headlines backward. Every interview sounds pre-calculated for viral clips. Every emotional revelation arrives attached to strategic timing. Every project feels designed not around meaning, but around visibility itself. And audiences can feel that exhaustion now. They really can. The polling numbers only intensified the disaster, because when recent YouGov ratings surfaced, they painted a picture so catastrophic it almost felt surreal. William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, remained enormously popular. Princess Anne remained respected almost universally. Even Charles, despite years of criticism and enormous pressure during his reign, held strong approval compared to expectations. But then came the cliff edge. Harry at 30%, Meghan Markle at 20%. Those aren't temporary fluctuations anymore. Those are structural collapses in public goodwill. And the terrifying thing for the Sussex camp is that public exhaustion feels colder than outrage. Outrage at least means people are emotionally invested. Exhaustion means audiences are beginning to drift away entirely. And drifting away is far more dangerous because it kills relevance slowly and quietly. The American audience that once treated the Sussexes like revolutionary celebrity royalty now appears increasingly distracted by newer scandals, newer stars, newer drama cycles. Meanwhile, Britain has settled into something even worse from a PR perspective: patient indifference. That mood exploded even further this week after another royal controversy emerged involving Prince Andrew. Reports surfaced surrounding a frightening security incident near him in Suffolk, reigniting debate over publicly funded royal protection. And while Andrew's situation is obviously very different from Harry's, the public reaction exposed something emotionally important happening inside Britain right now. The patience for royals wanting privileges without visible service has almost completely evaporated. That is the emotional backdrop against which Harry and Meghan now operate. Not sympathy, fatigue. The public increasingly views the monarchy through a simple, unwritten bargain: duty in exchange for privilege, service in exchange for protection, presence in exchange for loyalty. And the Sussexes broke that bargain in the eyes of many Britons the moment they tried to maintain royal branding while simultaneously rejecting royal obligations. Fair or unfair, that perception has hardened year after year until it now shapes nearly every headline surrounding them. The fairy tale wedding of 2018 now feels almost ghost-like when viewed through the lens of spring 2026. Back then, the atmosphere around Harry and Meghan looked unstoppable. Crowds cheering outside St. George's Chapel, global media obsession, headlines calling them the future of a modern monarchy. But 8 years later, the symbols tell a completely different story. A leaked article exposing deep disagreement about their children's future. A wedding photograph removed from the king's emotional living space. A tribute so polished it triggered questions about who actually wrote it. None of these moments scream collapse individually, but together they whisper it constantly. And maybe that is the strangest part of all. This story is no longer unfolding through giant dramatic explosions. No shocking interviews, no screaming palace wars, no massive revelations. The collapse now reveals itself through tiny gestures, through absences, through carefully chosen wording, through symbolic substitutions, through emotional distance becoming physically visible inside rooms once filled with family photographs. The institution itself keeps moving forward almost coldly. William and Catherine raising the next generation. Charlotte, George, and Louis stepping naturally into public life. Princess Anne continuing decades of relentless service. Charles settling into his reign with increasingly grandfatherly warmth. The monarchy adapting the way it always has, slowly, quietly, relentlessly. And perhaps that is the real nightmare hiding underneath this entire Sussex story. The realization that the institution Harry and Meghan once believed depended on them has learned how to emotionally continue without them. Because institutions survive by outlasting turbulence. That is what monarchies do better than almost anything else on earth. They absorb scandals, they absorb departures, they absorb rebellions, and then eventually they continue forward until the turbulence itself begins fading into history. Harry and Meghan once looked like they might permanently reshape the royal narrative forever. But now, increasingly, it feels like the royal machine has simply adjusted around the empty space they left behind.